Hey everyone, I am live in Mitchell with Sunsan over at Michell and Area Community Outreach, of course. Hey, today we wanted to have a chat and conversation about your transportation, your mobility vehicles, because it's that time of year where people are starting to get itchy to get out and about, and people that want their independence. So I'm going to give the microphone over to you, Sunsan, and I was hoping you could take us on a bit of a tour, first off, and show us the two buses or the two vehicles. You've got one bus, one van, available for people to be able to use to go from point A to point B.
Okay.
There you go. And I'm going to turn this around for you, so just hang tight for 1 second there. Here we go. All right. Take it away.
Hello. Sorry. Yes, we have two vehicles here. One is a small minivan, which does carry up to 5 passengers if necessary. We generally use it for one-day trips. One client trips, medical, goes to London, Kitchener, Stratford, wherever they need to go. And the bus over here will carry 16 passengers. It does change the number depending on what the requirements are. It will carry up to 5 wheelchairs for a nursing home charter if necessary. But then, of course, your passenger number would go down. Okay?
What type of passengers do you normally carry?
All sorts. Anyone with any type of disability that is geared for the program. They can be wheelchairs. They can just not be able to drive anymore because they're a senior citizen and they don't want to drive or they can't. Could be vision problems, could be hearing, it could be anything that stopped them from driving their own vehicle. They are all able to take any of our vehicles. Okay? They would do an intake, of course, with the intake office through Easyride. Then they would go with us.
So as you take us on inside into the mobility bus, Sunsan, do you want to talk about how do we book this? I'm interested, I need to go for a ride. How do I book this?
Okay, there are two ways. To get into the system, you would actually call Easyride to do an intake to make sure that you qualify. Most people do when they get to this point. There usually is no reason they don't qualify. Okay? Any disabled works. It can be a senior. It can be somebody that's been in a car accident. It could be just a challenged person, a disabled person that has been disabled their entire life type of thing. It can be almost anyone that needs help. Okay? I don't know. So you would actually call. If you just had questions, you can feel free to call the outreach office and get all your questions answered ahead of time. And that number would be, the outreach office here is 519-348-9765. We'd be able to help you, steer you in the right direction, if nothing else, and give you any answers that you would like. If you want to go ahead and just schedule, then you would call the number at Easyride. Now that's in Stratford at OneCare. They do all our scheduling for us. They do not do the driving. We do here out of Mitchell. They just do all our scheduling because we really don't have the staff to do that. And that number would be 519-272-9875. And there is also a toll-free number if you're long distance from Stratford, and you can just give us a call at Outreach and we will give you that number. Okay?
Okay, so do you want to give us a little bit of a tour? I can even take that
Sure.
back from you. So I want Sunsan to be able to show you a little bit about the bus itself because there is so many. Okay, it's cold out here today, so we're going to close it. And you can see everything is, of course, mechanical in here. So we're first obviously going to close this. If you are in need of a wheelchair, we can definitely help you out here. Load in, and I want Sunsan to be able to show you exactly how you can be buckled in here. And as you said, this seats 16 people. And what kind of trips do you normally go on? Let's say we're going to be talking to quite a few individuals over the course of the next month or so that do indeed use the services here at Mitchell and Area Community Outreach. You have such a great program, such a great offering to people. with regards to transportation, so many other things. We're talking, of course, about the transportation right now. Some of the key individuals, I mean, we've got someone coming up later in the week who was in a car collision. So as you said, and it might not be long-term, it could be short-term that they're using this for.
It could be. It's right now it's up in the air.
Yeah, until they're a little bit better. So can you walk us through, you were showing me a little bit earlier, we're on the bus right now, the mobility bus, as we said earlier, we've got the 2 different vehicles and options available. But if I turn here, Sunsan, can you give me a little bit of a tour as to, like you were showing me how the seats can move, how if you have a wheelchair here, all the different ways that you can actually get connected, and how safety is definitely a #1 feature and focus here at Michell and Area Community Outreach. You were talking to me about turning the wheels the correct at 45 degrees angle, all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. So yes, at the front here we fit 2 wheelchairs. They're permanent spots, and as you can see, it's restrained by 4 Q strings. They're supposed to be on a 45-degree angle to hold the chair, and they lock. They don't go anywhere unless we actually want them to. So what I'll show you is, okay, you see that would be loose. If you just let go of it, you heard the click. That's tight.
Perfect.
And once the client is actually in the chair, which they usually come in the bus in the chair, this is just an empty chair to show you.
It's our prop for today.
Yeah, this is our prop. So anyway, once they're in the chair and they're all locked in at the bottom, you have 2 straps. These are the shoulder straps, just like in a normal vehicle, with a lap belt that is actually on the Q string, which I'll show you in a minute. But this is done up just like an ordinary shoulder strap in any vehicle to keep them from falling out of their wheelchair, basically. It holds them in the chair like they would in a seat in a van or anything like that.
What are the longest types of trips that you normally go on in here?
Well, they could be an all-day trip, actually. We do play trips right out of the outreach office, and they're generally an all-day trip. What we do is we load here in Michell, and we take them to, it could be St. Jacobs, it could be Drayton, it can be Grand Bend, depending on what we've booked. We do have one coming up at the end of this month, and it is actually at St. Jacobs. And they will be, they leave about 10 in the morning approximately, and then they have lunch before the play. So they get a lunch somewhere close to wherever that play is. And we choose different restaurants, and I'm not sure what the restaurant this month is yet. And then they go to the play, and then they come home.
Beautiful. And you said, we were talking earlier too about a swimming group.
Yes, we have that every Friday. This year it ends the 23rd of March. It starts in September. It starts in September every year. This year they're doing 2 sessions. Last year we actually did 3 because the demand was there. This year a lot of our seniors that do the swimming, it's called Aquafit. They go to Spruce Lodge in Stratford. So we pick them up here in Michell at their various places where they live. Some get picked up here in the lot. Some get over, we go around to River Thames and we pick up a couple there. We pick up one from the manor, and then we go out into the town of Michell and pick up more. So there's quite a few actually. I think they have about 10 clients that go. Not every, they have 10 booked, I believe. So when they go, and when they can't go for whether they're ill or whether they don't want to drive, we have one that drives in from out of town. She lives out past Dublin. She drives in and meets us here. Now, if the weather's iffy, she might decide not to go.
Okay.
That type of thing.
So a couple things. I just wanted to mention, too, while we were here, let's have a seat, because you had mentioned to me about the seatbelts. And I think I think it's really important to show everyone the seatbelts. Do you mind putting because this has it, you need to put a seatbelt on, right? It
comes from the middle.
Okay, I'm going to sit down here. Here we go. Here we go, Sunsan. Okay, here we go.
Okay, it comes from the middle.
It's like we're on an airport. You can be doing no, I said it'd be like you are on an airport. You could be doing demonstrations for them as well. Okay,
and
so
then you do it up. All you have on these seats is a lap belt.
Okay.
The shoulder belts are only the wheelchairs.
Okay. But safety again being number one here, super important.
Yeah.
some other things to feature and focus on here. Can you talk a little bit about the reach? How far do you, because we say Mitchell and area, what does that comprise of? Here, I'm going to give you the microphone.
Okay. Technically, we service the entire West Perth area. And you want to know where that goes, you have to look on a township map. It actually goes to this side of, part of Moncton, actually. This side of 55 is ours.
Okay.
We go all the way out a little bit past Dublin, depending on what area. And then it just follows the township maps.
Okay.
Now, we have been known, we are actually helping a client out out of, I believe she actually lives in here in East. It's because she comes and goes to Stratford. Here in East is serviced by, I believe, Listable, I believe. And that would be ridiculous for them to do it. So we check with them, are you going to take this client or would you like us to help you out? This is how our one client is our client right now.
Okay.
It's because she's actually out of our area. But she's so close to our area and where she's going that we do it for them.
Right. And then how far do you also take people as well? So you're reaching your starting location, so Stratford area, like how far are we talking here?
It depends on where they want to go. We've had family trips as far as, oh good Lord, we're way out by Erie County somewhere. I can't remember where exactly they went. It's been a couple of years. But it really depends on where they want to go and if they're willing to pay for it. We have taken, we did an estimate for a trip to Huntsville one day. We didn't actually take it. It was to a wedding, and it was going to be an overnight trip.
Okay,
so it did get a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they wanted an estimate to see whether they really wanted to go or not. Mainly because Mom was in a nursing home in a wheelchair.
Okay.
Kind of thing. So they thought it would be easier to transport her. But they thought, in the long run, I'm not sure Mom even went because it was too long.
Okay. But overall, we're talking cost-wise, very cost-effective. How does this work?
Yeah. Okay. So your day trips in town, they're $4 one way. So say I picked up somebody, say behind us at the River Thames, and she wants to go to the grocery store. Well, I pick her up. I take her to the grocery store. She has a general idea how long she wants to be. So then we take, and then I leave, and then I go back and pick her up, say an hour later. Usually it's about an hour they need. And then I take her back home. That two-way trip would be $8. That's all she would be charged for that trip.
That's a great deal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about what a cup of coffee costs,
Yeah.
it's really very cost-effective.
Yeah, it's just the scheduling needs to be scheduled in as able to do that type of thing. So as long as it's not a medical, we try to do all the medicals first so that they're actually booked in properly. And then we do the daily trips around those. For like I said, if I'm doing a medical trip and they're just coming into Mitchell, or they're going from home to here in Mitchell, say the doctor's office over here, then I would pick them up. And then if I had a client that wanted to go grocery shopping, but she wanted it 15 minutes after I dropped that person off, that is still doable. And I would do that. I would take her to the grocery store. Then I would return my medical client to her home. And then I would go probably back to the grocery store or downtown, wherever they were, and take them home.
Okay,
And that's the way the scheduling works.
So at the end of the day, these guys here they're scheduling geniuses. You've got it down to an science.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close. The only difference on that is if the vehicles are out of town, then we actually unfortunately have to decline that kind of trip.
Okay.
But they can go the next day if they want.
Okay.
So there are options.
Okay. So I have two other questions here for Sunsan. One is the idea of being able to bring an escort or a companion. What's the difference? Because there's a cost associated with that too.
Your escorts are actually, your one escort is actually free. If you bring a family member with you to escort you in, say, a large hospital like London, because you're in a wheelchair and you need help to get to your appointments, they're actually free. That family member rides with you for free. We do count them in our stats, but they don't cost anything. Now, if you need an extra escort that you don't have a family and you need to hire an escort, our program do have escorts that we can try to get you one.
Beautiful.
But they do cost.
Right.
And I think it's $25.
Yeah, and that's just all on the website, and there'll be a link there
Yeah.
for you in the description above here. I will make sure that that's there, along with the phone numbers that Sunsan mentioned earlier. Make sure all that contact information is there. What's the easiest, as you said, you first qualify, so the easiest and first step would be to call the number?
Yeah, your first step, if you didn't have a whole lot of questions, would be call Easyride to do what we call an intake. They ask you questions. There will be some that if you're not comfortable, you just say, I'm sorry, I don't want to answer that question. Your main thing, what we need there is why you need to take our vehicles, where you live, how old you are. They always want your birth date, and they will definitely want emergency contacts. That will be the main issues. And then I'm not sure what all their questions are after that. But some of them you are able to say, I'm sorry, I don't want to answer that question.
So no trick questions,
No.
just general information we
Just
need.
general information.
You know, you mentioned to me earlier as well, I'm going to pan up here. There, you've got on the vehicle in here a camera. Can you
Yeah.
explain the significance of having a video camera on the bus?
Yeah, we have a video camera on the bus. There are,
I'll follow you.
yeah, you have various angles. There's one actually behind this mirror, and this mirror allows me to see all my passengers at once. This is just a passenger mirror, so that I can check if I hear something wrong. There's one here, and what it does is it pans right through the bus, so that yes, you have you may be on video. It comes right through the bus so that if something does happen, we can look and see what's going on. Later on, if there had been an issue, we can see what the problem was. Also, it also does all the way outside the bus into the traffic. You have your traveling. You can see everything going on outside on that camera as well, just in case somebody happens to cut off the bus and something does happen. We have a backup to say, hey, this is what happened, and the police will just look at it.
Yeah.
And say, okay, this is what happened. We know what's going on. All right.
Perfect.
So it's a backup to the driver's account of what went on.
Yeah. It's just, again, another safety factor.
It's a safety feature that, frankly, all I have actually ever done is made sure it worked.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. But it's there.
We've never had an issue that we've actually had to use it.
Beautiful. Okay.
So.
Anything else you want to add, Sunset?
Oh, and it also does have a backup camera so that we use mirrors, but we also have a backup to show us where we're going, just in case something runs behind us, we can actually catch it as well. Other than that, did we show them the seat yet?
We went over
did?
the seatbelts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did some of the seating there. So
Yeah, so the seats themselves, some of them they all lift up like this, so that if you have a challenged client but they want to sit in the back seat, or you're bringing a wheelchair to the back, you have nothing in your way, and they can walk right to the seat. If they want, they can, okay, let's go this way. Say they came all the way back here. This seat, I'm going to hold that for a second.
sure.
This seat, we would actually unlock it. If you notice, there was a safety lock to hold it in place so that it doesn't come flying down. We would unlock it, bring it down, and it would be up if it was somebody wanting to walk to the back and sit in the seat. Then, say they had a walker. They would turn around and they would simply sit down. It's that simple. Okay?
Beautiful.
And as we load, usually we have these all up when we load, say, a large trip like the nursing home, when they're going on a long trip, or we take nursing homes to, say, lunch dates, say, in any of the restaurants in Stratford here in town. Our 3 nursing homes usually are Michell Nursing, Ritz Villa, and Hillside. We do most of their charters as well. Now, we do help Milverton and St. Mary's if requested. Sometimes they have a request for a charter, and their buses aren't free, but ours happens to be free that day. We will do those charters for them if they request them. as well. So
Beautiful.
that's the point of Easyride. Easyride covers Milverton, us, St. Mary's, Stratford, all the basic area. So that's what their purpose is. If they get a request, then they just send us an email out to say Stratford needed a bus run, like a bus charter trip, but they didn't have a bus for it. They would send an email to St. Mary's, Milverton, us, and ask, do we have the bus available that day? And we would reply back, or they would know that we did, because that's what they're supposed to be looking up in the program, is to know that this bus is empty this day. Maybe they'll do it, type of thing. So if they send the request through to us, what we would do is we would find a driver first. Like we would reply to it saying, well, I'll see if I can find you a driver. And then if we get a driver, we'd reply, say, yeah, we'll take it. And then that trip is covered for whoever needed the trip covered for.
Beautiful.
So that's the purpose of the Easyride system.
All right. Thank you so much, Sunsan.
You're welcome.
I've really enjoyed it. The one thing I wanted to point out, too, and just as a general reminder for people, this is a community service for not only people, not only, if you are in a nursing home, if you have a disability, it's here for you, but it's here and for so many other people too. I know a lot of people who over the winter were maybe snowboarding, got a broken bone, have car collisions. We were talking about that. Yeah. That it's for everyone.
Everybody in the community.
Yeah. So keep that in mind. If you know somebody that could benefit from this, that wants their independence, that wants to be able to get from point A to point B, and, a spouse, a sibling, a mom or dad is working and not available to do that, Michell and Area Community Outreach can give you that independence once again and help you out with that. So if you know somebody, or if you can do us a favor and share this for us today, we want to let as many people know about this as possible. So by sharing this, we're going to be introducing you over the course of the next month to individuals that do utilize the transportation services here. And for doing this, we want to enter you in today's draw for a $25 gift certificate to Tim Hortons. So what better way to kickstart this? Who doesn't like a cup of coffee or a donut or a cookie here at the local Michell Tim Hortons? So we're going to give a $25 gift certificate to a lucky individual. Just hit that share button. Hit it right now. We'll wait. Hit that share button and we'll enter you in the draw, and you'll see the draw winner made in probably about 48 or so hours. All right, thanks so much, Sunsan. I know you've got things to do, places to drive to, people to pick up, so I'll let you go and we'll be back down here. I'll see you later in the week on Friday.
Yes. Yeah, where
we're going to introduce you to our first, one of our first passengers, and let you know their experience with the Michell and Area Community Outreach Mobility Program. All right, thanks so much. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone. Thanks.